Congratulations, you finished Module 3, adding and subtracting. I hope you enjoyed this journey through using manipulatives, counters, and working on the number line. For our check-in at the end of this module, I've attached a template, or it's kind of like a worksheet, but I call it a template because instead of having just one problem or a set of problems like a worksheet would, this introduces a format for solving word problems that you can really use on any word problem. I call it the word problem helper, and it walks you through the steps of identifying important information, picking a way to solve the problem, and then reflecting on how you've solved it. My suggestion for using these is to also look at the attached practice problems in each of the upcoming modules, Module 3, 4, 5, and 6. There are going to be a set of practice problems at the end of each module, and these word problem helpers that I've included can be a guide or a scaffold to solve these. So what I'd recommend is pick at least one or two of the practice problems. Use the word problem template to go through and practice picking out the important information. Of course, creating a visual representation and using that visual representation to help us solve. Let's take a look. I'm going to walk you through the template and explain how each part works. Okay, so here's our word problem helper. There's where the name goes. The first section is understand, and I developed these templates just from over the years working with a number of students and realizing what are the common challenges that students have when working with word problems. Because one of the things you hear all the time is, oh, they know how to do multiplication, they know how to do fractions, they know how to do this, but then when you give them a word problem, it's a challenge. So to me, I said, well, let's break this down. What it is about the word problems that are giving kids difficulty, and I designed this template to address all those. So understand is the first common challenge. Sometimes they're not picking out the right information, right? Or sometimes they're not picking out what the problem is asking. So by using this template, it's a way to scaffold the student and also an assessment for us so that we can figure out if they are having a difficulty, where are they going wrong, instead of just saying, oh, they didn't know how to do the word problem. So first, understand. Next is think ahead. Part of what's key to the new math and Common Core is when we're not just operating, we are formulating. So what that means is if I say, what is 4 times 6, all you need to do is operate or calculate. You just need to perform 4 times 6. But when I give you a word problem that says, I eat 4 apples every week, how many apples do I eat over 6 weeks? First, you have to realize that that is telling you to use 4 times 6, and then you have to calculate. So thinking ahead is good practice for formulating. When students make an estimate, you can start thinking about how are they thinking about the problem, right? And then again, what operation can we use? That's really the heart of the formulation. Once they've figured out their operation, then they can draw a picture. And hopefully we have some good ideas about how to draw pictures by now, at least for counting up and counting down. Then we can create a number sentence and solution. Now, all of these are optional. This is designed for elementary age students, but as you can imagine, some of you with kindergartners are saying, well, they're not going to be writing number sentences. You're right. Third graders, however, will be writing number sentences. So you're going to have to decide how to use this best. I would hope that you yourself would complete at least 1 or 2 of these for practice, just so that you're thinking through how do word problems work. And then if you are using these with students, you might read it to them and they can tell you the answers and you use it that way, or you can read it to them and write down their answers, or if they're ready for it, they can fill out the worksheet themselves. This, again, it's a tool for you. I recommend that you complete some for practice, but then also consider taking these sheets. If you're a teacher, you can photocopy as many of these as you want, hand them out to your class, use some of the practice problems. If you're helping your child with homework and it's it's confusing, you may say, let's try a couple of these and give them the template and see how that works. Or if they have word problems, they can use this template to help them with word problems that they're getting from school. So again, we've started by understanding our information. Then we're thinking ahead, we're formulating, using a picture as a way to help, our number sentence, and solution. So you write out the number sentence. If in the problem about eating the 4 apples a day, they would write out 4 times 6 equals 24. Then check to make sense. This is another place where we're going to get some insight into their formulation, right? How does the answer make sense? We want them to be catching it when the answer doesn't make sense. That ties back to our habits of mathematical practice from the Common Core standards. Precision, right? Look at your answer. Also, the reasoning component. Can they tell, if the apples were eating 4 a day for 6 days and somehow they end up with 300 apples, do they have the mathematical reasoning to say, wait a minute, that's not the right answer? That's important, and it's important if they're not doing that we talk them through it, because talking through it is how they develop those skills. Reflection, also really important in developing what's called metacognition. So these are some social emotional skills, increasing motivation, focus, things like that. When students reflect on their work and think about how they did instead of somebody else just telling them how they did, they internalize the motivation more. And again, what did you learn? Now, I'm going to stress, if the teacher sends them home with 10 word problems and you want them to complete a worksheet for every problem, that's not going to really help. We don't want to make this drudgery, but using this sheet at least a few times until eventually you want this process to be internalized, right? Where when they see a word problem, they're thinking through these steps on their own. So again, try out a few. If you want to do all of them, great. If you want to use this and skip a few steps, that's fine too. It's just a way to lay out the process of solving a word problem. Pick the parts that are most helpful for you. Try it out. Let me know how it goes, and I'll see you in Module 4.